Ken Trahan with Lenny Vangilder. It's our First NBC Bank weekend preview brought to you by First NBC Bank with 35 locations throughout the greater New Orleans area and beyond. That's First NBC Bank, proud sponsor of SportsNOLA.com. Well, it's Thanksgiving. Happy Thanksgiving, one and all, and hope you have a blessed and wonderful time throughout the course of this holiday weekend. I know that some people will be, some people won't be when it comes to football. When it comes to football in South Louisiana, a lot of teams that aren't having a whole lot of fun. Starting with LSU. Les Miles, by all accounts, it appears he's gone at LSU. He pretty much indicated that without saying as much at his presser on Monday. Nobody speaking out on his behalf, and I mean no one, and even one guy mentioned as a possible successor isn't refuting anything at this point in Jimbo Fisher. So, Lenny, whether or not he deserves to be fired is certainly debatable. His record says no. His recent record says maybe. But I think the way this has been handled is not the way to handle things. I'm very disappointed in the way this has all transpired.
It is unfortunate. And, a lot of things
it's wrong.
Yeah, it's wrong. And it's, 11 years is a long time to be at one place. Mm-hmm. And in my mind, although, you and I were a lot younger then, this smells like the late 70s all over again. Charlie Mack got shown the door. He retired, but he got shown the door at LSU because he couldn't beat Bear Bryant. Well, guess what? Neither could anybody else, And I think that's a lot of what you're seeing here. Les Miles has lost 5 times in a row to Alabama and Nick Saban. That is what is driving this ship right here. If you're going to win SEC championships, if you're going to be in a hunt for national championships, well, guess what? You're in the same division as Alabama. You've got to be able to beat them. You can't lose to them 5 years in a row. That's that simple. So if that's what's driving this, well, yes, the guy has had a tremendous amount of success otherwise, but it's unfortunate. And you look at what has happened to this program since that January night in the Dome in early 2012. It has clearly trended this way. And that's, I think what you're trying to do is make the best situation for people who are spending a lot of money to come see your games. And if you don't have butts and seats, it's, it turns into an even worse situation.
Les Miles and the LSU football program have never been the same after that debacle in the Dome for a national championship to end the 2011 season. Since then, 19-13 and barely above 500 in the SEC. So it looks like this era is going to end. And by the way, kudos to Les Miles. What a tremendous era of football he gave LSU. And if he is, in fact, gone, which it certainly appears to be, we're saying right here today that it appears that that's what's going to happen. We don't know that definitively, but it certainly has all the earmarks of transpiring. So stay tuned for that. And LSU gets Texas A&M as kind of an afterthought, because of all of this, really.
There is a game, and look, here's what I want to know. How are these kids going to respond? Are they going to rally around their embattled coach?
Because they have to know.
Well, of course. And he didn't address it before last game. He said he was going to address it on Monday with his team and apparently did. If every one of these guys is obviously recruited by him, he's not just a coach who's been there for 2 years. Are you going to rally around your coach and send him off the way he should be sent off? A&M's been a pretty good matchup for them. I'd like to think they come out and play pretty well on Saturday. But again, when you've got these kind of distractions, you just don't know.
Yeah, John Chavis, of course, the other storyline, coordinating A&M's defense. He certainly knows LSU. And then Felipe Franks, maybe the top quarterback in the country, certainly one of the top 5, decommitting from LSU. Looks like he's leaning to Florida now. And it's coincidental, perhaps. Les Miles looks like he may be out at LSU. Franks committed to Miles, and now it looks like he's out. And the quarterback problem at LSU continues.
It does. I mean, a lot of people say, Felipe Franks is the answer. Well, Felipe Franks may be headed to Florida now. So, no, I think this may have happened regardless. But Florida has been on his heels for quite a while. And that's the one thing I don't like about the recruiting process. Commitments aren't worth, they're not written on anything. They're verbal, but they're not even worth the words that they're spoken with because both ends of it. The young men continue to go out and explore the recruiting process, take official visits, things like that. The schools don't stop recruiting either. So that said, by the way, watch Prep Recruiting Insider every Wednesday night at 6 on WHNO TV 20.
Very good. Need to move National Recruiting Signing Day up. Has to be moved up. It's that simple to try to curtail some of this. I think that's the only answer. With regard to Tulane, their coach is in peril as well. They've got the game with Tulsa coming up on Saturday to wrap up their season. They're not going anywhere. Their offense can't score, and they're not entertaining. Defense got trashed at SMU last week. New athletic directors on the horizon, maybe within 2 weeks, if not a week. And as a result, the fate of Curtis Johnson will be known at that point.
Yeah, let's fix one thing. It's Friday night.
Friday night, 7:30 at Yeoman. Yeah.
Well, it's the thing about it is, especially with the American, you never know what night games are going
exactly.
to be on. At least in the SEC, occasional Thursday game, or maybe a Black Friday once in a while. But you never know what night it's going to be in the American and some of these other leagues. But that said, no, you're right. What is the future? Could be the same kind of situation now with other than 3 kids, I think it is. CJ has recruited this whole team, and you got the seniors who are going to be honored on senior night for the most part of those 4-year players who he brought in his first class. I mean, he made a splash right away. He was here a month. He got Darian Monroe. It's going to be Monroe's final game in a Tulane uniform. There'll be some other guys. And that's one thing. I'll have a story later this week at SportsNOLA.com. Check for the seniors. Getting honored on senior day and all of this other stuff going on at LSU and to a lesser scale Tulane is really taken away from what should be their day and their chance to go out and play one final game in their home stadium, one final game perhaps in that uniform, and all of this distraction is kind of taking away from that storyline.
Yeah, and then the Saints, of course, who knows if Sean Payton will be their coach next year. But stay tuned for that. They're back in action after a bye week, after changing defensive coordinators. Got rid of Jolon Dunbar, brought in a guy from Canada who rushed the passer well. Stay tuned. They go to Houston. Houston all of a sudden is playing much better, especially good on defense. So this will be another tough test for the Saints, although they'll be healthier than they've been in quite some time.
Offensive line versus J.J. Watt. That's what I will be watching because, they've got to do everything they can. It'll be interesting to see what the Sean Payton, Drew Brees, and the offense do. I think you've got to do some things a little bit quicker this week, whether it's tempo, whether it's 3-step drops, those kind of things. Brees can't stand back there like a statue for 4 or 5 seconds because he's going to be on his back when you got a guy like Watt rushing the passer. You have to take that into account. He is one of the few guys on defense you have to game plan against in this league.
Pelicans continuing their West Coast road swing. Check out SportsNOLA.com for results and stories. And then, of course, finally, high school football and the semifinals and select, quarterfinals and non-select this weekend. And we'll be a big part of that. You want to watch on Friday night. Ponchatoula, John Eric, great storylines. Hank Tierney back to Haas Memphis as the coach of the Green Wave to face the Patriots, whom he coached against frequently at the stadium he used to always coach at for Sean Westjeff. You can watch it live at SportsNOLA.com. Friday night at 7 p.m. And then as part of the original on WGSO 990 AM and statewide, you can listen to Rommel and Curtis, the second chapter, as part of the original. Game starts at 7 at Joe Yenny Stadium. Again, listen to it on WGSO 990 AM as part of the original. And follow our scoreboard at SportsNOLA.com through the original. You'll be very happy you did like everybody else. So it's a big weekend for high school football.
It took them 51 years to play again, and now they're going to play twice in a month, Rommel and Curtis. So I will have a full video preview as well, breaking it all down in all 9 brackets, as only Ken can do, because no one knows more about this stuff than he does. I like to say he knows more about high school football than you know about anything. So check that out as well, and should be a lot of fun Friday night. 28 games. We'll get down to the semis on the non-select side, the championship round on the select side when the night is over.
Look forward to it. It's going to be a great weekend. Lenny, have a great Thanksgiving, you and your family.
Same to you. We'll see you on Monday.
All right, that's our First NBC Bank weekend preview, brought to you by First NBC Bank with 35 locations throughout Southeast Louisiana and the Florida Panhandle. That's First NBC Bank, proud sponsor of SportsNOLA.com. He's Lenny. I'm Kenny. Have a great Thanksgiving. God bless you one and all. See you next time.